Yeah, whatever, Walmart.
The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
I've reversed the layout of the kitchen since the last time we did anything for 5S related reasons that are probably worth their own discussion later on, but for now, it's time for a Foreman grill showdown between the George Tough Foreman grill and this new copper Foreman grill thingy that's Walmart specific. So I finally wrote off my involvement with this grill as a sunk cost, because I tried seasoning the plates with cooking oil, but I guess once isn't enough. I think you gotta, heat it up and cool it down multiple times before you finally start building up a new coating of oil to cook on. But I tried to season the plates, it created a bit of smoke, I risked setting off the smoke detectors, there goes the refrigerator, and things still stuck. So, even though I was able to scrub this down with a plastic brush, get all the stuff off it, make it look like brand new, what wasn't there was the non-stick coating. So, yeah, I might try to re-season this with cooking oil, but I need something to cook burgers on in the meantime while I experiment with this thing. So I'm going to write this off as a sunk cost, especially since I still can't find replacement plates for it, and switch back to the George Tough model. And we'll see how long this one lasts. Of course, I am going to burn in the plates and hopefully not set off the smoke detectors in the process to burn off the remaining residue from manufacturing and everything else that the instructions say, and we'll see how long this one lasts. Plus, with the similarity in shape between the George Tough version and this copper thing, I've got a few questions about how interchangeable the grill plates are. Maybe I can keep this around as an extra set of heating elements for if this one ever stops heating up. I don't know. We do have to clean this one off, though. It does make the place smell great, though. Some of the burned-on stuff that made it under the plates makes it smell like you have a gas grill going instead of an electric grill. Alright, let's begin our little experiment here. I knew I was onto something here, and this is why I'm going to keep the dud around. Doesn't it? Is it just me, or does this look like this is the exact same grill, just with different non-stick surface? Actually, here are the manuals for them. Here's the manual for the 1060 and the 3060 viewfinder, no viewfinder, and here's the manual for the 1060, 3060, and 460 BXC, which is what this copper one is. I thought the design was looking a lot more standardized, especially since they're both 4-serving grills. So here's the brand new, nice new George Tough, and here's the copper one that I couldn't get more than a month out of. They look pretty similar, to the extent that I would bet that these plates are interchangeable. So even though I can't find any replacement copper plates for this, if the replacement George Tough plates for this thing are ever back in stock, I can just clean this one up and, put this one's plates in. Let's just figure it out!
Epic fail.
I thought so. Ha ha ha! Mix and match plates, baby. Although I am going to use the George Tough one because it's brand new, and because it's brand new and doesn't have a lot of burned-on stuff underneath. So I will try to get this one cleaned up though, and keep this around as I'll clean up the plates too, and keep this one around as an extra set of heating elements or whatever, or maybe see if I can re-season the copper plates to make them work properly again, and then I'll just have two grills. Here's the kind of difference we're talking about here, and probably where a lot of the smoke that I have to deal with comes from. Ugh, look at all that. Oh, man. Yeah, look at all that nonsense versus brand new. Yeah, I want to clean this up so it smokes less when I try to use it, because, as you know, of course, we have the hypersensitive smoke detector right outside the kitchen, which is why I wanted all the stuff that could potentially create a smoke show on the far side of the kitchen. Plus, it's next to the window, so we can always pop a fan in the window if it gets really bad. I just don't want to wake up the neighbors trying to cook something at 2 a.m. Operate the appliance empty for 15 minutes to burn off any residual oil from the manufacturing process and to cure the heating elements. This may cause smoke or odor, but it's normal and nothing to worry about. Ensure the room is well ventilated. Fan in the window, here we come! This calls for some AV Geek ear protection in case I set off the smoke detectors. I'm sure OSHA would give me an attaboy. Start a 15-minute timer.
Sure, 15 minutes. Starting now.
I can already smell something burning. Definitely got to follow the directions with this stuff. I just don't want to heat up the cabinets, so let's push this out a little bit further. So hopefully the heat just radiates out this way. I really don't want to heat up my cabinets. And while this is potentially setting off the smoke detectors, let's check the instructions on what to do next. Before first use, wash grill, plate, and grease tray according to the instructions in the... Oh, no, that's grease tray as a noun. It's not saying... I misread that. I thought it said to grease the plates. But we are going to let it burn off the manufacturing residue, then cool completely down, and then check the instructions for how to wash those plates for the first time. So get all manufacturing stuff off of there. But first, burn off the residual oil. I can still smell this thing. Headphones on, baby. That's what they meant by heating elements curing. It's up to temperature. Some things are popping because they're probably getting up to this temperature for the first time ever. Nice and warm. I do have a fire extinguisher if things go horribly wrong. Zero heat making it to the cabinets. I get the angle just right on this thing. That's one of the differences versus the last one of these things I had, is that it's more square as opposed to the more rectangular one that I had in 2016. Let's see here. Let's see what goes off first. The Google alarm or the smoke detector? I'll call that a win. That's 15 minutes. Now we can completely let this cool off. Ooh, that does heat up about as much as the other one, too. We can let this thing cool off, and then wash the plates according to the directions to get it ready for its maiden voyage. This thing's almost ready. Dishes are done. And here's the reason why I reversed the order, besides the whole thing with smoke and heat and stuff like that. So here's a fold-up dish dryer thing, and I've got a fan blowing down not only on the dishes, but on the counter surface below, so that way any water that drips down can be evaporated off. We'll revisit this in the summertime if humidity gets in the way, but that's the other reason why I 5S'd this by reversing these, because the microwave is a lot cleaner than, in terms of not giving off a lot of smoke and whatnot, than the Foreman grill and the air fryer. So I want all the stuff that could potentially set off the smoke detectors on the far side of the kitchen. Also worth noting is that by the time I go to make coffee again, you can see the hot shot hiding over there. By the time I go to make some coffee again, the dishes will probably be dry. So I just put the dishes back, put the dryer rack away, make some coffee. Just gotta find a new home for the stuff I've been cleaning the countertops with. Turn on the down fan.
You got it. Turning on the down fan.
Voice-controlled down fan, baby. Alright, we're cool to the touch again, except for the heating elements, of course. But we have nice and clean. Just taking this in one last time before grease gets in there and messes it all up. So you're supposed to go over the grill plates with some, just sponge some warm soapy water on them with no abrasive stuff. So we'll do that. Now let's cook some burgers and see how much better results we get than we did with the copper grill. Okay, it's maiden voyage time for this thing. Oh, it's nice and warm in it. Let's do this. One-handed, if possible. Be nice not to have patty paper in the middle of our first burger. So, George Tough versus the copper stuff. Well, how do they slide? Ooh, they slide! Not as much as the copper one did, though. When I first got the copper grill, I could not keep these burgers up in this part of the grill. They would always slide to the bottom. Alright, let's see what happens after a couple of minutes. Ah, this is looking good already. Ketchup and onion powder. Now, let's see how we're doing here. Well, they cooked a bit more on one side than the other, but I've already moved them around a bit. But they move freely on the George Tough coating. And they didn't stick to the lid when I open it up. That's a big plus. Are the juices clear? Yes, they are. These might actually be a little bit overdone. Maiden voyage is a success. And look at that, they just come right off. No issues whatsoever. No issues whatsoever, except the buns aren't lining up, or the bread isn't lining up. And that's what we have left. So, let's see what happens in terms of burned on stuff when this thing finally cools down. Okay, now that this is cooled back down, there's some fat left over to wipe off of these things, and it'll be good as new. So, here's what I'm going to do. This is going to be exclusively for cooking burgers, and we'll see how long the non-stick coating lasts. For more adventurous stuff like grilled cheese or potentially more abrasive stuff, what I'll do is I'll take the copper one, clean the plates off, and then I will try and re-season them with oil, similar to how you're supposed to season a skillet. So, the stuff that was a thing before all this non-stick coating stuff was a thing. We'll see what kind of results I can get for that, but I do know, however, from all of this, that these plates are interchangeable, as I suspected. So, basically, I will end up, if these replaceable plates stay around, if there actually can be a proper supply chain for them, Spectrum brands, I very much look forward to this and the copper one lasting until the heating elements quit. But, as we all know, this is a razor and blades type setup here, and they get you with the replacement parts. So, we'll have to see how this pans out. So, we'll get this cleaned up, and then we'll get the other one cleaned up. And the other one will be more experimental for seasoning grill plates with vegetable oil or canola oil or whatever works for that sort of thing. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay, signing off. Thanks for stopping by.